We will begin the ceremony with the arrival of the official party. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the official party and remain standing for the posting of the colors by our Blue Angels Honor Guard, the singing of our national anthem by Ms. Linda Phillips-Bell, and the invocation by Chaplain Timothy Sessions.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets wrapped around, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Please stand at ease and join me for a quick word of prayer. Almighty God, as we gather this morning at the center of the aerospace testing universe for this groundbreaking ceremony, I'm reminded of your words when you said, "Foxes have holes and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head." You understand our need for a place to call home and to lay our heads at night. I thank you for our community and civic leaders who have taken action to ensure clean, safe, and affordable housing for our single and unaccompanied teammates after hearing and seeing the great need here at Edwards Air Force Base. As we break ground this morning to build the U.S. Air Force first ever commercial apartment complex, I pray we will also break barriers and pave the way for other isolated and remote military installations. As we also recognize the many dedicated individuals who have put in countless hours of planning to make this day possible, I pray this from this point on that the only red tape that needs to be cut will be the ribbon cutting ceremony in the summer of 2026. I pray you'd bless this time of celebration for great things to come, and thank you for each member and special guest who has come to rejoice in this moment. I offer this prayer in your mighty name. Amen.
Thank you, Blue Eagles Honor Guard, Ms. Phillips Bell, Chaplain Sessions. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We are honored to have many distinguished guests with us today. Please help me welcome our presiding official, Colonel Douglas P. Wicker, Commander, 412 Test Wing. Please join me in welcoming our distinguished guests and one of our guest speakers, the Honorable Dr. Ravi Chaudhary, Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Energy, Installations, and the Environment. Our other distinguished guest and speaker, Mr. Heath Burleson, President and Chief Executive Officer for May Road, LLC. We also welcome distinguished guests in the audience and virtual. Lieutenant General Carl Schaefer, United States Air Force, retired via virtual. Mr. Robert Moriarty, Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Installations. Ms. Lisa Fisher, on behalf of Mr. Mark Colon, Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Housing. Mr. Arthur Hubert, Executive Director, Air Force Test Center. Mr. Jeffrey Dahm, Deputy Director, Air Force Civil Engineer Center. Brigadier General Matthew Heiger, United States Air Force, retired via virtual. Colonel Mary Ann Carlin, Deputy Commander, Air Force Test Center. Colonel James Hayes, Deputy Commander, 412 Test Wing. Mr. Dan Usburn, Senior Technical Director, 412 Test Wing. Chief Master Sergeant Justin Stoltzfus, Command Chief Master Sergeant, 412 Test Wing. Colonel Joel Purcell, Commander, 412 Civil Engineer Group. Lastly, we welcome civic and community leaders, all group commanders, squadron commanders and directors, division chiefs, our partner organizations, family members, and all of our guests who are in attendance in person and joining us virtually today. This is truly a great day for all leaders in the 412 Test Wing and our May Road partners who have been working hard towards this moment for several years. At this time, I'd like to invite Colonel Wicker to say a few words.
Well, thanks, Sergeant Moore, and Chaplain Sessions. Great invocation. I think you hit the nail on the head with the comment about the only tape color that we'll see. And how about that national anthem? One more round of applause for Miss Bell. Every time you do that, it's extraordinary. So beautiful, beautiful morning for just a historic event here. I want to welcome everybody to the center, to Edwards Air Force Base, the center of the aerospace testing universe. Just out of curiosity, who is, and there's no no initiation or anything, but by show of hands, who is this their first time at Edwards? We have a few. Welcome to Edwards. We live for first in flight test, and so I'd like to welcome you to this great historic event. Of course, before I forget, they may already be gone. The Blue Eagles, they always get out of here fast enough, but again, extraordinary job. And also, thanks to our project officers, Mr. Hugo Villa, Colonel Joel Purcell, and actually all the civil engineering team that, I mean, look at this. This is great. They pulled all this together, and it looks fantastic. I won't go through all the names again, but Dr. Chaudhary, thank you very much for being here to kind of mark this occasion. And Mr. Burleson, I'll have a little bit more to say, but thank you for just the great partnership of May Road. And actually, I do need to call out, because when General Schaefer, retired Lieutenant General Schaefer was Brigadier General Schaefer and the wing commander here, ever since the Mr. Moriarty has been, kind of championing this from behind the scenes up there on the air staff. So this is as much of a victory lap for Mr. Moriarty. So thank you, sir. And actually go back even a little bit further in history. So since the commander down at Marchfield, somebody named Lieutenant Colonel Hap Arnold established the very first outpost here on the edge of Rogers Dry Lake Bed in 1933. Housing has been a challenge, a persistent challenge. The first documented military quarters here were actually bivouacs, a tent canvas on the shore. They were set up in January of 1934. It was the commander, the Pursuit, 34th Pursuit Squadron commander was somebody named Captain Ira C. Aker, another name that you might recognize. So we started from very, very low beginnings and only improved from there. The tents eventually got modernized to rough wooden barracks. By the mid-1940s, there was a cluster of wooden duplexes here. Those were for the married personnel. They were nicknamed kerosene flats. That housing, and I'll use that term very generously, it was legendary for the wind and the dust that would blow through all the cracks in the thin wooden walls, and for the ever-present smell of kerosene that was used for heating and cooking. In fact, it was kind of a battle. The smell of kerosene would get blown out by the wind, so there's some just legendary stories from that period. And I don't think anybody shed a tear when Kerosene Flats was torn down in 1954. It's taken time, but the housing here at Edwards has steadily gotten better with each and every decade. In fact, thanks to our absolutely fantastic partner, May Road, the privatized housing that we now have here is widely counted as some of the highest quality housing in all of DoD. We do have one very real problem here at Edwards. We just don't have enough. And so the most recent housing requirements and markets analysis that we did for Edwards Air Force Base documents a housing shortfall of 119 single-family homes and 307 unaccompanied accommodations. So the apartment complex is going to help with that. The increased demand for flight tests that's projected to persist for several decades, a doubling of the students going through test pod school now, the booming aerospace economy in the Antelope Valley, we also call it the Aerospace Valley. So the housing shortage here at Edwards is only going to get worse. And that's why I'm so grateful that Lieutenant General retired Schaefer, who is joining us virtually, who was wing commander here almost a decade ago, launched that privatized apartment proposal with Mr. Burleson. Mr. Burleson was in his office when they kind of like, almost as a joke, said, well, what if we did apartments? It's taken a while. Brigadier General Teichert retired, pushed it through. Brigadier General retired Higer was a big champion, pushed it for a very long time, and here we are. Dr. Chaudhary and Mr. Moriarty, AFMC, AFIMSC, AFCEC, everybody else across the DAF that helped get this proposal across the finish line, thank you. Thank you on behalf of the men and women who are testing and developing the Air Force of the future here at Edwards. It's the same that they've done for the past 90 years. Getting the Edwards Air Force Base apartment complex approved is a really big deal. But a policy win is not the same as an actual place for our airmen to leave. Building the apartments is where our incredible partners of May Road are coming in. Mr. Burleson, on behalf of all of Team Edwards and those airmen of tomorrow who will call these apartments their home in the Mojave Desert, thank you, and to all of May Road for stepping forward and taking care of those who serve. Edwards Air Force Base is a place of firsts. Our first jet took off from the lake bed just a couple miles that way. We first broke the sound barrier here, less than a month after the Air Force was created. Then Mach 2, Mach 3.2, Mach 6.7, all firsts. The first landing of the space shuttle. The first flights of too many aircraft to name, but they cover every single generation of fighter, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and now sixth gen fighters with CCA and the NGAD family of systems. Every generation of bomber since World War II has flown here, including the first flight of the B-21. There's a reason that we like to say we live for first in flight test. And to that long list of historic firsts that have taken place here at Edwards Air Force Base, I am so thrilled that we now get to celebrate one more, the Air Force's first commercial apartment complex. Joel, Bart, Melody, all of our incredible civil engineering team from the 412 CEG, it is your turn to ring the bell at Poncho's on Friday because you've got the latest first. Congratulations.
Thank you, Colonel Wicker. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Burleson to say a few words.
Yeah, I really should have gone first, sir. That was, whoo. So good morning. My name is Heath Burleson, and I have the absolute honor in working with an incredible team of around 130 professionals that we call May Road. And it truly is an honor. We're absolutely excited to do what we do every single day. And I'm very, very proud. I'm also very humbled that we're standing here today to talk about this remarkable project for Edwards Air Force Base. It's not only a project, rather, for Edwards Air Force Base, but it's also a project for the entire United States Air Force. It's been a while. We've been working on it a while. Mr. Crawford, his hair used to be dark brown, and it's now completely white. So it's been a little bit of time, but we are just absolutely humbled to be a part of this process. We're actually standing right here on the foundation of the very first apartment to be built at Edwards Air Force Base. But like I said just a moment ago, it's not only the foundation of the very first apartment, it's also the foundation of something that we're hoping to replicate across the entire United States Air Force. And the time that it's taken for all of us collectively as a partnership to get to this point is time incredibly well spent, because we knew in lots of conversations with our partners, we knew that this was going to be something that would be replicated well beyond the 6 Air Force bases of the Continental Group that we have the honor of being the partnership for. So we're incredibly excited, incredibly humbled, like I shared just a moment ago. The deepest gratitude for not only our partners here at Edwards Air Force Base, but our partners at AFCAC, the Secretariat, our team, everybody that has played a part in allowing us this opportunity to be here. And taking a big step back, I'd like to recognize the May Road team of Edwards Air Force Base in the back. If everybody give them a round of applause. At the end of the day, I've got the easiest job in the world. All I do is just say, great job, guys, and give them all the tools that they need to succeed. And let's be very, very frank with one another. If these guys and girls did not do what they do every single day at the absolute highest level, there's no way in the world the United States Air Force would even consider moving forward with such an important project with May Road. So thank you, guys, for all that you do. And with that, I've probably said way too much. Trying to follow the colonel is, I'm never going to do that again. But again, we're just very, very proud to be a part of this, and I would just like to thank everybody for being here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burleson. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Chaudhary to say a few words.
All right, well, good morning, everybody. How's it going today? That was not loud enough. Didn't everybody's team have a football win this weekend or what? Come on. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. Well, my team had a tough one against a tough California squad, the Fighting Falcons of Air Force, so I'm in a bit of mourning today. But y'all woke me up. Let me tell you something. Master Sergeant Moore, thank you for that very, very kind introduction. It truly is an incredible honor to be here on this momentous day in Antelope Valley, where the future of our Air Force makes history nearly every single day. But today we're going to focus on our courageous men and women in uniform and their devoted families. The human weapon system upon which our nation turns to for security and inspiration. Wicker, Chief, thank you and your team, the entire 412 test team, test wing for your leadership. Colonel Carlin, Mr. Huber, it means a lot to have test center leadership here today. General Schaefer and Brigadier General Heigert, thank you in Cyberland for everything you've done, for laying foundation for today's success. Of course, Heath, thank you, and the entire May Road team. Josh Crawford, Sharon Shores, thank you for hatching this groundbreaking business model. And Jim Hennessy from Harrison Street, where you at? Here? Where's he at? Not here today? Okay, all right, no worries. Thank you for all you've done. But I want you to know that when I talk to our families and hear about what they're saying about May Road, I get their direct feedback. And while there are work areas, Heath, your team's commitment and service is palpable and shows from their feedback every single day. And for all the folks at May Road, I just want you to know that what I think doesn't really count. What really counts is what our military members say about you. And they're saying good things. Jeff Dom, thank you, and the entire AFCAC team for working hard at this and making us successful and getting us today. You've been incredible, and I can't thank you enough. Lisa Fisher, where are you at? Thank you, thank you, thank you for all your work getting together with OSD to get this program moving. To include a big shout out to Mr. Owens, the ASD, for installations. And finally, I'd like to say a huge thanks to my deputy, Bob Moriarty, Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Installations. This commercial apartment complex is one of Bob's passion projects. He's worked closely in this project from his time at AFCAC and has continued to champion this effort every single day. Well done, my friend. You've lived the values of innovation and including persistence, and for taking no for an answer. Hell, it is a family tradition in our organization now. For when somebody comes and tells us no, we just say it's all good, go to bed, wake up the next morning and say we're going to eat no for breakfast. And then we find a way to yes. But it takes a village to get there. So if you've been part of this effort, please, I want you to stand right now and be recognized with a huge round of applause. You got us to this day, so please stand up and let's just give them a big thank you. You really got us to this day. Ladies and gentlemen, your department is hard at work, rapidly flipping the script on quality of life initiatives. We refuse to move at the speed of government as we know it, choosing to move at the speed of innovation instead. In March, I announced a $1.1 billion investment in dorms and daycare centers across our Air Force as part of the President's 2025 budget request. This nearly triples our investments over the previous 4 years and is the largest in well over a decade. The effort will occur at 61 different installations, and elements are already taking form in our comprehensive dorm master plan. In short, this is about delivering for our airmen and guardians. But from my standpoint, I wanted to place special emphasis on our remote and isolated installations. One of the reasons I visited here last December. You see, this is part of my own story and why I came back to government. As a young captain in the Air Force, I was stationed at a remote base, challenged with intense training, all the while having to ensure my wife, carrying my first child, had the amenities to ensure a comfortable quality of life. Honestly, in some cases, it wasn't perfect. But in other situations, it was just flat out wrong. But there wasn't even time to complain back then. For we were a few short months from a day that would define our lives together. One that we'll be honoring tomorrow. The tragic events of 9/11. You see, that's why I take this so seriously. It's personal to me. And while I have many obligations, as our president always states, we have one true sacred obligation: to care for the men and women who serve and give them a life befitting of their service. So when I came here in December and spoke to some of our families, eye to eye, I knew that was work to be done, and it couldn't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to announce that today is a new day for our men and women serving in remote and isolated installations. And thanks to you, we are honored to begin this journey at Edwards Air Force Base, the center of the test universe, but soon to be the center of the family universe. Today, we're reaffirming our commitment to providing airmen and their families here at Edwards Air Force Base with accessible housing that is befitting of their service. An all-new commercial venture, one that incorporates best practices from the last 2 decades to include mitigating some of the traps we've fallen into. For some time, many airmen at the 412 Test Wing, I didn't know it was all the way back to 1933, have been impacted by the shortage of housing options or and proximity to the base. That's why we're going to flip the script and try something new. Something tailored for the men and women who serve here. And to our families, I can say this: we hear you, we see you, but now it's time to deliver for you. It's a simple equation. When our airmen and their families have quality housing, they are better able to focus on their mission and supporting each other. That's why today isn't just about inaugurating a new building. It's about setting a world-class standard for our airmen and our guardians, especially at remote and isolated installations. If we're to project air power in this decisive decade of great power competition, then our installations had better meet a high standard of resilience. But we also must ensure that our families have the resources to build that resilience with each other, in their communities. And that means safe and modern places to gather and care for one another. This all-new commercial complex is going to feature 144 units in 6 to 8 independent 3-story buildings, with an estimated total building residential area of more than 135 square feet. Beyond simply meeting the housing needs for here at Edwards Air Force Base, we're providing premier amenities for our airmen to thrive, including a park with a barbecue area, a fitness center, boy, barbecue sounds good, a fitness area, sports courts, a pool, EV charging stations, and more. But talk is cheap, and my job is to demand action on behalf of our military families and the taxpayers. So I hope you're up for the challenge, Heath. I know you are, but you can be sure I'll be back here soon for a progress update. In the meantime, I wish the best for you, Mayroad, and the entire 412th team. You have demonstrated the potential to take this on and succeed. But what's truly unique about this project is its commitment to sustainability and links closely to the Deputy Secretary of Defense's recent release strategy on resilient and healthy defense communities. The complex will harness clean and renewable energy sources of energy for our airmen and their families. This effort will complement Edwards' already impressive portfolio, including a 2023 solar array project. The project joins what has become one of the largest solar and battery storage projects in the entire world, spanning more than 4,000 acres of public and private lands. Think about that. This is a place where we can find the leading edge and move our nation, not just our Air Force, our nation forward. As we embrace progress on multiple fronts and look to the future, we'll continue to ensure this project remains on track and tailored to meet the needs of those whose countless sacrifices ensure our U.S. Air Force and Space Force installations are the best in the world. Once again, thank you, Beaker. Thank you to the 412th Test Wing, Mayroad, and all of our stakeholders on this momentous occasion. And may God continue to bless our troops and their families. Thank you, and let's get to work.
Thank you, Dr. Chaudhary. I'd like to invite Colonel Wicker and Mr. Burleson to join Dr. Chaudhary to sign a mutual cooperation pledge document. This document symbolizes the commitment needed for the Air Force and Mayroad to bring this project to fruition for the betterment of the airmen. Now I'd like to invite the following to please join these three gentlemen for the groundbreaking ceremony. Mr. Moriarty, Miss Fisher, Mr. Dom, Chief Master Sergeant Stoltzfus, Colonel Purcell, Mr. Josh Crawford, Ms. Melody Couch, Captain Nicole Flanagan, Senior Chief Petty Officer Earl Darrow, and Staff Sergeant Jeremiah Farmer. Everyone, please take a shovel and look towards the camera for a picture. Thank you, everybody. Please return to your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the official portion of the ceremony. Please join us in the singing of the Air Force song. After the song has concluded, we invite you to join us for lunch and refreshments inside the Mojave Sky Community Center. Please stand, if possible, for the Air Force song. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attendance.